Aloha, my magical souls. Aloha and welcome here to today's episode of Meet Your Spirit Guides. Special journeys, especially for witchy and highly sensitive ADHDers. If this is your first time, my name is May. I'm your neurospicy cyberwitch, helping you get from overwhelm to self-trust, self-empowerment, stand in your own power. I'm leaving the music on a little bit while I'll explain everything today before we dive into everything. Just for you to know from the structure, for those of you who have, who have been here, you can just, wait until we have a little bit more. We're working on it. No, I'm sorry. I mean, you can come back in 15 minutes if you don't want to listen to my explanation for first time arrivers, participants. Because so the way I do it is that first of all, I explain how these journeys work, what you want to, how they became to be, and then in the first couple of minutes, I'll draw some cards. That's something new because I feel this is more me than trying, not trying, but getting I think having astrological sort of like pinpoints are important, and that's why I created a special calendar for all my followers inside of my cyber coven that can use that one to sort of like know, okay, which planets are going retrograde or so on. But what I find stronger that works for me are these cards that I created with my Hawaiian teacher way back when. These are a little older, but they have been always very helpful, especially with the times that we're going through right now. And today's guided journey is going to be a special one because we're so close to the new moon that just happened. So I want to, I want us all to embrace that energy of the new moon that just happened that has been very powerful. And to dive into guidance from the new moon as well. And now let's dive into if this is your first time here so that you will understand a little bit. So I just said that you can, if you want to connect with the new moon, we will definitely have that new moon energy in this circle today. But of course, as we do every week, you are always allowed to ask other spiritual guidance. For example, if you want a special guidance from your ancestors or from any other of the, spiritual guides that we have out there. Whenever I speak of spiritual guides, I really mean all of them, meaning ancestors. It could be your spirit animals, your spirit guides, because we also have just guides by name, depending on how you want to, label them. There's guides, there's healers, there's spiritual teachers, especially when you're coming from a shamanic point of view. There's so many different ones that we have out there. Like I already mentioned, the ancestors. I like to work with spiritual magical creatures like dragons. In my case, I know that some of my clients work with unicorns. There's fairies, there's gnomes, there's, all the nature spirits that help us depending on where you live. Maybe you're very connected to them. Then you might want, you might have some of the beautiful nature spirits, helping you, supporting you. What else do we have? Yeah, like spirit animals. I really like them very much. And then there's spirits that have walked this plane with us. Or maybe at some other point in life, or in past lives with us, that are connected to us. And there might be even new ones that you have spoken with. In case this is your first time, I am creating a safe space with my spirit guides. Once we get started, this sort of like shuts into a space of anybody participating in the journeys that we're doing. So this is a safe space for all of us to do our own work. Everyone is doing it by themselves at home. You're listening to me. Maybe you're watching, but I hope that once we start with the journeys, at least for the first time, you close your eyes so that you can just listen to my voice and let yourself be guided. Um, that's so just for you to know, in case you feel like something is showing up a little bit scary, you can always ask your spirit guides if you have a main one already. If not, ask for a main one in the beginning that will help you feel protected and safe inside of this realm. Please do know that I am protecting it anyways, but sometimes things that we are looking for, maybe questions or challenges or whatever we want to interact with our spirit guides with, sometimes they might show up in something that feels a little bit scary. We can always request our spirit guides to show themselves less scary, and usually that happens within seconds. That changes once you set that intention. And here's the second point. If you know about shamanic journeys, if you've done some, the most important part about them is the intention, and that happens in these guided journeys as well. The most important thing is your intention, because it helps us set an anchor, and especially for us ADHD and highly sensitive ones that tend to, where our brain wants to go all over the place. The intention gives us an anchor where we can always come back to. We can always come back to the anchor. If because there's a space inside of the journey where I just let go and I let you go and do your either conversation with your spirit guides, talk to them about your challenges, whatever you want to talk to them about, you will be able to do that. And you will have a space for that, right? But if you do feel like your mind is going away too much, you can always come back to the anchor and focus on the anchor and tell your spirit guides to help you anchor that part for yourself and come back to the conversation you actually want to have. I have to admit that every now and then, not always, but every now and then, there are moments where our mind just doesn't want to shut up, to put it that way, because it happens. We are prone to be overthinkers, and we are prone to have, want to be all over the place with our thoughts, which is okay. Feel free to ask your spirit guides if this happens too much. Ask them to give you a general anchor. Or something where you can recognize for yourself, okay, maybe today's not the day to do that. That's one of the things that I had with my spirit guides, where we have a sign that they give me, haven't in a while, but I still use it every now and then. It gets less. Where I know that my brain right now is too overbearing. I think that's the perfect word for it, where my mind is too much in the mode that, oh my God, I need to solve things and I have problems, and is looking all over the place for all of them. And it is not giving you space to actually speak, or listen to what your spirit guides want to tell you, what your intuition, what their words are. So ask them to give you a sign for it, right? So that way you have something that you can use to, to be there. And to anchor you back. And we have to say, come on, we are human beings going on waves, things happen, and sometimes it's just not the right day. Enjoy the circle, the energy of the circle anyway. It's not like run away, I don't need this, it's going crazy. No, allow yourself to just be there, allow your thoughts to pass by. If they need to run, allow them to run by you, and just, instead of hanging on to them, just let them pass by. So that energy can be doing that. And because it's also a release, and it is a little bit of a wellness, even though it might not feel like it at first, because your mind is running so much. But sometimes allowing your mind on purpose to just run wild and then make it stop once you're done, that's also a possibility. Yeah, so that's the part about that. Another thing that I find important to know is, because probably most of us, because of our ADHD, have very vivid and visual brains, or inner eyes, to put it that way. So I think most of us are very good in seeing what our spirit guides want to show us, want to share with us. Some of us feel it, meaning I don't see it right away, but I feel like I know it's a deep knowing. A deep knowing can be there, a feeling, a smell, a touch, a taste. There's people that actually taste the information that they are giving from spirit guides and then they interpret it for themselves. So there's that. And I know that sometimes in the beginning we feel like, oh my God, like, is this really true? What am I seeing? May I am seeing so many wonderful creatures, and I'm not sure if that's for real. You know, trust yourself and trust the images that come, trust the knowing that comes, trust that what is coming. The more you practice it is going to be easier. And I am 100%, no, maybe even 200% sure that the more you practice getting connected with your spirit guides, the easier it gets to listen to them without the need of the weekly guided journey. I'm not saying it's going to happen right away, but the more you practice, this could be something. Nowadays, I have my conversations with my spirit guides when I am driving, when I'm in the shower, when I'm, on my walks. Sometimes I'll feel how they are walking next to me and I'll hear them. All right. So this is one of the things that I hope that you get out of practicing this every Sunday with me is that at some point you are back to trusting your intuition, trusting your own communication with your spirit guides to have that on a daily basis. I hope I'm not forgetting anything else. As I just mentioned, there's no need to just sit still. You don't have to. You're allowed to, do whatever kind of movement. You might even see me yawning or something or moving around like this because when I start working with energies and sorry, it's happening now with with the yawning. I mentioned it. That's why it's probably happening. But it's also a lot of energy happening. So that's another thing. If you have to sneeze, if you feel like eating, I have something to drink right next to me because of course I'm talking, but also, for you to know. So please make yourself as comfortable as possible. And the most important thing is to listen to my voice. That's why this is also possible doing it walking. Like if you feel like going for a walk, that's also okay. And yeah, I just recommend maybe for the first time to do it somewhere, where you can listen more focused. But please, if it helps you, you can also go for a walk and do it there. Yeah. I do have to give the disclaimer if you're doing it driving, please always make sure that you are taking care of traffic. I don't want you to have any accidents or anything. And I think those are the most important ones. Have something to write down if you need something to write down afterwards, and that's it. And I call these guided journeys meet your spirit guides for you. For me, it's 21 at 21, meaning the guided journeys are around 21 minutes. Um, I should time them every now and then. But yeah, so they should be somewhere around that. And usually every Sunday, I explain for everybody that is a beginner level so that in case you are coming in, in the future or want to look back, you do this journey again later on in the recording, you can always skip forward to when the guided journey starts. Right now, it's 9:15, so just, feel free to do this in the future, either come in later or, just have, yeah, just, if you're looking at the recording, just move forward. And yeah, so we're doing the new moon today for week of April 20th. And that's why I'm going to draw 3 cards from these very special card deck. This is my personal card deck. I used to have it on Etsy at some point, and now I think they're out there. So this is like my personal deck that I use every now and then when I feel like I want a guidance. And I find it nice to read these sort of like to what to look out for in the coming week. So I have them here. And I'm going to choose right away all 3 of them. I feel like today it's 3. Yep, today it's 3. All right, mix them in. Here we go. Putting this on the side. Ooh. So the first one is inner truth. What do you really want? What do you really need? Listen to your inner compass and don't let yourself be distracted by external circumstances. So this tells us for this week to really be connected with ourselves. Here, if you feel like doing a screenshot for it during the week to remind you. Inner truth. One more thing that why I like doing this right now, because maybe something of this resonates with you so that you can take it into the journey so that when you meet your spirit guides, you can, tell them, for example, help me, answer this question. How can I be more aware of my inner truth of what I really want? Because I know this is something that we struggle with sometimes as, witchy and highly sensitive ADHDers. Ooh, this one, a very strong one. Nudge your energy. As an empathic being, you can regulate the absorption of external energies yourself. Consciously close your empathic muscle. Again, if you've been following my energy wave email newsletter series that I have, once you enter my cyber coven, you'll understand that for us, you know, whether we're empathic, highly sensitive, we absorb everybody else's energies. That's our natural state of being. And usually it doesn't bother us too much. It just flows through us. But every now and then we'll have something that is a little bit stronger, or that triggers our own fears, our own things, right? So that's when any kind of protection won't work because it's something internal, because it wants to show us something that we need to work on, that we need to heal, and transform. For everything else, this is something essential. So if you don't feel it too much, if you're like me, but how can I do that? I don't know how to. That's a very good question that you can ask your spirit guides. Not your energy. All right. Here again, in case you want to make a screenshot of that to remind you during the week. As an empathic being, you can regulate the absorption of external energies yourself. Consciously close your empathic muscle. All right. And when we get cards like this, I feel like, there's some work to do this week. But this is also, I know I'm saying all of them are my favorites. They get to the beach when they get to the beach. And this is something that goes for everybody. So it's an invitation to be more patient, whether with us or someone else. This sentence is a reminder that everyone has their own time to develop. You cannot force others or yourself to gain knowledge or transformation faster. All right, so it's a little bit like hold on, I'm going to put it in here in case you want to have the reminder screenshot for the week. And that's the thing. We have our own timing. We have our own, way of moving through things. All right. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. Do one step after the other. Listen to your inner truth, block yourself off whenever you can. And anything else that in spite of that comes through, that's something that you can work on. And don't put too much pressure on yourself that you need to be evolved. Or maybe it's someone else. We never know, right? Just take it with yourself for the coming week. I like them. These are nice cards. Okay, so for today, let's go into the journey. It's 2121 on my side. Um, just in case, if you feel like using music, please feel free to turn it on now. Um, it's good if you find music that is purely instrumental so that you can, focus yourself on my voice and are not distracted. And that is also the reason why I stopped using music in this format, because I know that it's a 50-50 chance if you're someone that needs music or that you're someone that doesn't need music. All right. All right, my wonderful souls. I'm going to take a zip for you to find your place wherever you want to sit or lay. And let's dive into our journey. I feel the rattle coming in. You're probably not hearing it. Sorry, I need some more water. There we go. You're probably not hearing my wonderful, beautiful rattle partner that I made myself a couple of years ago. But just imagine yourself. I'm imagining how, I'm going past each one of you and doing sort of like a rattling, cleansing from head to toe. And while I am doing that with each one of you, I call in our spirit guides, our spiritual teachers, healers, guides in general, our ancestors. Yeah. The universe or source, if you want to call it that way. All of our higher spirits, all of our spirit guides, spiritual animals, totem animals, power animals, all our magical creatures, the dragons, the unicorns, the fairies, the nature spirits, the elements, the four elements and the four directions. Wow, welcome. Come and join us and help us create this safe space and hold the circle for all of us. Hold it for all of us. Create it for all of us. Thank you. Thank you to all our ancestors and all the beings that want to support us, that want to hold this space. Welcome. Today we're going on a very special journey. Oh, wow. I see. All right. Whew. So today I see us all gathering together at the entrance to a wonderful forest. We're gathering there, each one of us at our own spot, feeling into the earth with our feet, feeling into mm, feeling into what we hear. You might be hearing an animal here or there, or little insects flying around. It's already dawned and it's the fresh new evening here, but it's still warm. You can still feel the warm air of a warm, sunny day. And you might be smelling some flowers that are here at the entrance of this beautiful enchanted forest that we're going to be walking into. And while we're standing here, I want you to focus on your breathing. Inhale through your crown chakra, the highest point on your head. Let that air run through your whole body, through every cell in your body, and then let it exhale through your belly button, through your navel. and see how that energy helps you release all your day-to-day worries and beliefs and thoughts that are not necessary anymore and not for today, not for today's ritual. Inhale through your crown chakra. Exhale through your belly button. And allow yourself to fully arrive here at this wonderful entrance of our magical forest. Hmm. And once you feel your body being a little bit lighter than before, we start to walk and we walk into the forest. There's a little beautiful path, easy to see. And in spite of it being night, the forest is pretty lit up with some light. Or maybe you've just got the night vision. And you can see the wonderful trees and maybe some of the animals on the sides, welcoming us into the forest and into tonight's very special event. And while we're walking there, you might greet some of them, or you might start notice that you're not walking alone, and it's not the group, it's your spirit guides that have come here. So if this is your first time, take a moment to ask them who they are, if they have a name, if you see them, or if you feel them next to you. If not, just keep on walking and allow yourself to know that they are there, even though they might not make themselves seen yet, walking with you through this forest. And if they are already there, if you'd like to, ask them if they already have something that they want to share with you before we get to our spot. And as we are walking there, we come around a corner and then you see a little lake. And it's a beautiful enchanted lake that has all sorts of sitting spots all around it, and each of us just find their spot, your personal one, where you feel comfortable sitting down, sort of like tree logs where you can sit, or little banks. Mm. And then you're sitting there with your spirit guides, and you're taking in the little lake in front of you. And as we watch up above in the sky, you can see the new moon, very tiny, tiny little line in the sky of the new moon. But as it is mirrored into the lake, when you look into the lake, you can see that inside the lake, it looks like a full moon. A little reminder from the new moon that in spite of it showing only as a little line right now, it is still a whole moon that is there supporting us with her energy. And with that light and with that vision of the moon and the new moon, allow yourself to feel into the spirit guides that are now sitting next to you on this spot. And with the energy of the moon right in front of you in the little lake, you take the time to talk with your spirit guides about your challenges, about what worries you and what you would like to get support in for the coming week. And I will call you back when it's time for us to go. Let's come back to our wonderful little lake. And before we come back to the moon's energy, ask your spirit guides to give you an anchor, something, an image, a sound, a word, something that will help you for the coming week. Remember what you talked with them today, what they shared with you, what guidance they gave you today. And before we go, let's take a moment to contemplate on the full moon in our lake and the little new moon in our sky. And just take a moment to inhale the lunar energy, for she's here also always to watch over us and to support us in whatever we need. And if there's something special that you would like to get started or get going now for the new moon that is starting to grow, let's take a moment to each one of us have their own conversations with the moon, and see what the moon wants to give you as a blessing for the coming week. And as we each inhale the moon's energy that she has given us for the coming week, we say goodbye to our spirit guides, knowing that they're not really going to go away. They're just gonna be there in our energy, supporting us, helping us. But for now, for today's journey, we're saying thank you. Maybe we'll see each other again next week. And we start walking back through our beautiful, magical forest, again with our own night vision, being able to see the trees and everything that lives inside of it. Recognizing the beauty of nature, helping us feeling grounded again within ourselves. And especially because of the messages that we just received. Until we come back again out of the forest to our little space where we started. And just arriving back here at this wonderful place where we again take a moment to, breathe it in. Do we smell something? Do you hear anything? Maybe the air caressing the trees, or maybe you hear some insects flying by, or a bird talking to another one. Maybe you even feel the dirt beneath your feet. And you allow yourself to just feel into your body and feel with the next inhale how you inhale through your crown chakra again. Let it go through your whole body. And this time you exhale it through your feet into the ground. Into the ground, into earth. And feel how this breathing helps you to really connect with earth and be grounded. And again, you inhale through your crown chakra. Let that air go through your whole body and exhale it through your feet into the ground. And feel how that grounds you back into your body, wherever you are sitting or standing. And you inhale and exhale as often as you need to feel grounded again into your body. And whenever you're ready, you take one last deep breath. And open your eyes and come back into the here and the now. What a beautiful journey this was today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like, go and write down whatever messages you received, or just allow yourself to let everything sink in. And if you want to return to this energy during the week or after, you can always come back to the recording here on my channel. Thank you so much for making the circle what it is. And have a wonderful time and have a blessed week. Mahalo.